Number 5 would have to be, I would say, a show called Clannad. Clanad. It's about, a boy who is pretty much down on the world, doesn't really think that much is going to come of the world, and one girl that he meets and eventually falls in love with her, which is like a typical anime romance thing. There are some downsides to it. It's only in subtitles, you can't find English, and the subtitles kind of go really fast, so that's kind of a downside. So here's some pictures of the show Clannad. Number 3 would have to be, Ranma 1/2. It's about a kid who goes to, Jusenkyo, China to train with his dad, and they go to Jusenkyo, and there are ponds there, which are cursed for some reason. They have poles in them that you would use to train on. You would hop around and fight your opponent, which in this case is his dad. He was jumping across, the poles, and he had slipped, and he fell into one of the ponds, which was a spring of cursed girl, or whatever, there was a girl who drowned there thousands of years ago, and now whenever he splashes cold water, he turns into that girl. When he splashes warm water, he turns into himself. And then, his dad, on the other hand, he falls into a different one. Now whenever he splashes cold water, he turns into a giant panda. Very fat, white and black, squishy panda. Let's see how we can figure a way to get back, and that's pretty much the entire point of the show. I wouldn't recommend watching it with any friend, because it's kind of perverted. Number 2 would have to be a show called This Ugly Yet Beautiful World. It's about your average guy who's down on everything, who eventually finds this girl, who is in this comet that's riding beside him on his motorcycle with his cousin on the back. And suddenly the comet zooms by, goes up in the air, and splits into two things. One of them goes off and lands in this forest, the other one lands near a pond, and then he goes over to the one on the left, which is in the forest, and he finds a girl inside a tree. Kind of weird. She comes out, falls into his arms, you're really lovey-dovey thingy. Then on his way back, this monster attacks him, which kind of sucks, because his motorcycle got broken on his way there. The monster is like some giant worm thingy. Eventually he has to save her, and he turns into this weird guy who has this X that goes from his cheeks up, down, up to his eyes, and into this X up on his forehead. And his hair just goes zoom and goes into these big ponytail looking things. And he has all these picked out things like shoulder spikes that go like this and stuff like that. So he's pretty much beating the crap out of that thing, spewing blue blood, stuff like that. It's really cool. I'm not gonna try and spoil it for you, so just go and watch it. Number 1 right now for me would have to be, it's very short, it only has 10 episodes, but it's called Handmade May. It's about a typical high school technology engineerist who orders a thing called Cyber Doll, and it's like a maid that'll clean up everything in his house. It's sort of like your average maid, except it's the size of a Barbie doll. Little thingy. And it's very efficient. It can talk, it can move, it can pick things up, it can carry, and all that crap. It also has a database called the MAID program, which can, like, teach you how to cook, develop emotions, and stuff like that. Eventually in the show, he figures out that he is the one who created the MAID program in the future, and all these two people from the future just come back somehow. It doesn't really show it, but it just shows the things and stuff like that. So I'm not going to try and spoil it for you, just watch it yourself.